What's up, folks? Sean the Average Angler coming at you with another great video. Today we're going to touch on something to hopefully help out our beginners new to the bass fishing world, or maybe you're just not real well versed. Maybe it's a hobby. I mean, it's a hobby for me, but hobbies are all different levels, right? If you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button down there in the bottom right corner. Join the Average Angler community where we tend to just bring you great video after great video. Appreciate you watching. Today we are going to talk about 5 mistakes beginning bass anglers make. Number 1, and this is one I made without a doubt, and that is buying cheap equipment, gear, reels, rods. Now, I'm not saying you got to spend thousands of dollars. You don't. But some of the real cheap stuff is just that. If you find combos in Bass Pro Shops, that's probably not your best bet. I'm going to leave you in the links some suggestions. Probably going to start around that $100 mark. The thing is, when you buy fishing equipment, the more you spend, the longer you can expect it to last, the better it is, so forth and so on. And there's advantages to all that kind of stuff. I've learned myself from making those mistakes. The easy suggestion is this: buy the best gear that you can afford to buy. If you got buku bucks, it doesn't mean go out and buy a $1,000 reel. I'll have some equipment links in the description. There's a point I don't think you need to go beyond. All right, number 2, and this is a painful one because I don't like to do it, but number 2 is not learning the drop shot. Learning how to drop shot is like a year-round fish catching machine, right? And there's drop shot videos out there, so I don't want to get into the technique. But I do want to get into the fact that the drop shot just flat out catches fish year-round. You can use a variety of different baits to drop shot with, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. You can Texas rig, you can bubba shot, which means you're putting on a heavier weight, fishing it in grass or in cover. You can fish it on a flipping stick. The typical way is on a spinning rod, and this is what I mean when I say not learning a drop shot. Learn to fish a drop shot on a spinning rod. It's such a great technique. Open water, humps, rock piles, shoreline, points, you name it, you can fish a drop shot in these areas and catch fish. And if you're dealing with spotted bass or smallmouth bass, all the more reason to be throwing a drop shot. Although there are plenty of pros, Aaron Martins comes to mind, that will show you largemouth as well. Number 3, and this is one that's near and dear to my heart because quite honestly, I think it's one of the best ways to learn about bass fishing is to go out and sign up for a shared weight pro-am. Here in California, we have one bass. We used to have New Gen. I don't know. You can also do federation events. Same type of format where you sign up as a non-boater. You get paired with a boater, and you get to go out on the water for a day with that person. Pro-ams, maybe multiple days. They used to be much more frequent with FLW and bass. However, with forward-facing sonar, they've kind of eliminated the whole aspect of shared weight pro-am type events. So I think that's unfortunate. Hopefully we see more of it because I think it's a great way for people to learn, and it's a real benefit for people that are new to the sport to get out on the water in a boat, experience tournament fishing. That's number 3. Number 4, y'all had to know this was coming, right? Learn to fish a jig. Jigs. There's a big reason for this, okay? Here is a dirty jig, okay? This is a Beast Coast Sniper. Open water sniper, okay? It's a jig. The real thing here is learn to fish a jig. It is such a versatile tool. It is one of the main forage species of the bass. This is a bigger one. There is so many different jigs to fish. Let's go from this spectrum to this spectrum, right? The Jewel Peewee jig. This is a Bass Patrol 3/4 ounce football jig. The jig is a main forage species of bass year-round. May not always be the best, but the advantage of learning to fish a jig is it translates to just about every other bottom bouncing technique that you might pick up and fish. A Texas rig, the drop shot, again, so you got the weight on the bottom. A Nico rig. Learning to fish a jig just translates in bass fishing to being versed enough to throw other techniques, all right? So I really believe it's important to gain confidence in fishing a jig, and they're very simple to do. I have a ton of jig videos on my own channel here. There's a ton of jig videos on other channels. It was one of the first things I learned to fish, and part of that's because when I was coming up as a fisherman, D. Thomas was a big deal. D. Thomas was a jig fisherman. He was also the king of flipping. He is the reason rod lengths got limited, and I believe now most circuits were kind of over that. Number 5, and the final mistake that beginners make as they're getting into bass fishing. And this one might sound kind of like, yeah, dude, you don't know what we're talking about, you're off your rocker. But anybody who spends any time bass fishing is going to learn and realize that putting a bait in places that other people can't produces a lot of bites. This one to me is casting. You need to be able to cast and hit your targets, whether that means you're skipping, just pitching, or just casting to the area that you want to put your bait. This is very important, and it's something that we can work on when we're not on the water. I used to have targets set up. I would stand on a milk crate as if I was in a boat, and I set up targets different distances under things, you know, like you put a chair over the top of it, and I would practice casting to targets. Very important to be able to put your bait where you're intending. I see so many people, especially new anglers, that cannot hit the broadside of the barn when they're trying to hit the broadside of the barn. It doesn't take a lot. I mean, if you spend 15, 20 minutes a day, 3-4 times a week in your backyard and your front yard, out in the street, pitching, casting, and hitting your targets. Very important. I think you're going to find that this will produce a lot more bites for you because it's a big deal. Bass like to tuck up and hide out. It's the nature of the species, whether in the summertime like we are now. They love shade. We need to be able to put our bait into those places where those fish are at. And I think as you bass fish and embark on this journey that so many of us are so passionate about, you're going to find that casting accuracy is probably one of the biggest deals going. Okay, it's way underrated. People don't like to hear it, but casting accuracy is probably the #1 thing to getting more bites. All right. Thanks for watching. If you're still here, hit that subscribe button. You know you want to join the community. We got all kinds of great videos like this. I'm Sean, the Average Angler. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.